Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another mini-sode of Jerry App. Today we're going to be covering the support role in Overwatch. Not meta-based, not anything like that. I'm just going to cover what each character, what their role is. Yes, support is a role, one of the three roles in the game, but if you don't know, and if you play Overwatch long enough, you will know that each character has a certain type of play style, a certain type of job to do within each team comp. Each character brings a different set of abilities and utility to the team that not every character can do. They have a lot of different play styles. Some work with some team comps. Some synergies are better than others. And it's, as a new player, I've been playing Overwatch since Overwatch 1 beta, so I like to think I have enough knowledge to really give some good insight to like a beginner. And that's kind of what this is for. I'm kind of just talking about, as you're starting, if you're starting out and you want to pick support, this can be a good little lesson to you to kind of see what your playstyle might be and what each of the characters kind of bring to the table, what they do. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to be talking about the characters as they came out chronologically because I'm nostalgic like that. And also, you don't a little bit on counter swapping. If something's not working and you feel like you have to swap, you can. However, I very much encourage you to keep playing because you're going to learn your bad matchups, and not everything is about having to swap. If you're good at a hero, keep playing it, man, and you can honestly climb with any hero in the game if you put enough time. But yeah, like I said, if you can swap to a better pick, you're flexible like that, it's definitely a benefit because there are games that are going to be very hard and very unwinnable, no matter what hero you play. You know what I mean? So I guess to start out, we'll talk about Lucio. Lucio is very popular this season, and for good reason. He brings a very unique play style to any team in which he can speed the team up. He can make them go fast. Heroes that really benefit from that are like Reinhardt, Orisa, Junker Queen, Ramatra, really stationary tanks without that much mobility. You can kind of just play like a rush down style with them. Lucio is very useful in that sense. You're not really picking Lucio for his healing ability, right? Like, it's not that good. He can amp it up every 12 seconds, I believe, and it's not the greatest. It's there, but you really are making use to play Lucio. Ideally, you really want to make use of those amp timings on the speed boost, right? You want to disengage with it as well. You can get your tank out of a lot of bad situations. Like if he's backing up and shielding his Ryan and you have a good amp timing, you can really speed him out of there and save him. Like I said, it's all based around having a tank that is competent as well too, so it's not all just on the character, but that's what he brings to the table. He has a knockback on his gun, his right click. I play on PC, so I'll probably be saying a lot of the PC bindings, whatever it is. I think it's left click or left trigger and controller, whatever. That's really good for displacing enemies. You can stop like wrecking ball engagements. You can stop wrecking ball fireball with it. You can boop Bob around. If Ash throws out Bob, you can boop him. Ilios Well and Ilios Lighthouse are very good Lucio maps because you can knock people off the edge. And that's kind of just what Lucio brings, man. His ultimate is a good defensive ult. It provides you with a bunch of temporary shields, so you can survive a bunch of ults. You get stuck in the Zarya grab, you can pop it, try to keep your team up as best as you can. And that's really it about Lucio. I'm not gonna go too long with this. Like I said, I want the minisodes to be a lot shorter, and I just feel like I don't have to drone on too long about each character. You know, they each play a very unique kind of way. So I guess onto Mercy. Now, Mercy is a very unique character in the sense that you really want to be pairing Mercy with a really good DPS because she has the damage boost that she can provide. It's basically a Discord orb for the person she has on. She has her beam on, right? You get like a 25% damage boost, and then you can also flip it to the heal beam when you're taking damage. Very good paired with like Ashe, Soldier, Cassidy. Any of the hit scan options are very good. Pharah's very, very good with her. She can help keep the Pharah alive. Although post rework, I have not seen much Pharah lately. Which the player base is improving at her, which is fine. But another good option is Echo, right? Echo can go into the sky. Mercy can fly up. Mercy beamed Echo charges, or the Echo sticky bombs, are very, very, very strong, especially with her beam that already does almost quadruple damage on a half health target. If your Mercy's boosting that, then you can get a lot of value in it. That's basically what she's for. You can play her. That's not like what she's all. And obviously the resurrect as well too. You can bring back a dead teammate if they're clear enough, because you have to sit still, right? You have to sit still for like almost 2 seconds to get the res off, and especially if they die in the open, it's really risky a lot of the time. But like I said, if you're playing with your team, there are times you can just res, you can shield it off or bubble it if you're Zarya, right? You don't want to res an unresable res, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you're playing Mercy to just heal, sometimes, there's not ideal damage boosting targets like, say like Tracer Genji. You're not going to want to follow your DPS in as Tracer or Genji because Mercy has no reliable way to fly away, She doesn't have much targets to fly to if your flankers are flanking. Like I said, it all depends. You can make it work too, and then there's like the Mercy heal botting playstyle. Heal botting is just a term the community came up with to represent like just holding the heal button or just healing the tank. It's basically what it is. Not using your utility to do damage or make other plays, just healing. That's what heal botting is. If you're going to heal bot on Mercy, I feel like it's a wasted pick. Like I said, it can work, but that's just not the ideal way to play her. You really want to make use of that damage boost synergized with a good DPS player to get the most out of her kit. And then her ultimate is just, she chains together her chain connects to not a chain, but the healing beam and the damage beam chains together if your team's together, so it's good. She can fly around at her own will, and she's just hard to kill. But Mercy, very good starting hero. You just got to know what to do with her, And that being said, we will move on to Zenyatta, my main. Zenyatta has been in the game since release. He's been relatively unchanged for the most part. They gave him a good kick for his passive ability. It knocks back. It's pretty good, really useful. But what Zenyatta is, he's the first of the DPS heavy supports, right? Where, yes, he has a healing orb. His ultimate is a giant healing ring, which is very useful. But you're not bringing Zenyatta for like optimal healing. You're bringing him for that Discord orb. Discord orb is basically a damage amplifier for everybody that shoots at the Discord orb. It amplifies damage by like 25%, which is, you could see how it's very useful, especially on tanks. Like, say a Reinhardt charges at you and you have him discorded. If your whole team focuses him, he's gonna explode. And that's to say for any target, Good focus fire is really, really, really rewarded with Zenyatta. And that's why I like it so much, man. It's very satisfying when your team is all in sync and you can just pop off with that, just everything exploding. It's really fun. Probably not for the enemies, but I don't really care. I'm a base Giga Chad Zenyatta enjoyer. But yeah, that's what you bring him for. He does a lot of damage. You can just keep spamming. He's really ideal on like Havana if there's not a Widow to keep you in check. He just, spam down the open sight lines. Right click when you're changing positions. You don't want to keep holding right click and peeking. You really want to just keep up the primary fire and just keep up the damage, keep up the chip damage, because that's a really fast way to farm your ult too, And during your ultimate, you're invulnerable yourself. You cannot die unless you get knocked off the map somehow or hooked off or something like that. And then you're providing your team with a lot of healing. I think it's like 300 per second and a giant ring around you. Similar to Lucio ult, you can pop it if you're caught. You can pop it if you're caught in Graph. It's like a Graviton Surge, like Zarya ult. It's very useful for, that defense utility. You need a lot of heals and a lot of sustain. Well, then the ultimate can bring that to you. And that's pretty much what you pay Zenyatta for. Oh, I forgot to mention his Harmony Orb. His Harmony Orb, basically, you just throw it on. It's really good paired with flankers. You don't really want to leave it on the tank unless you have like a Sombra and Tracer that like you can't really see ever because they're playing from off angles. You really want to give it to your DPS so they can take those extra. They can take riskier fights because they have the orb on them, So that's what you really want to play. I mean, Zenyatta literally, he works with a lot, but it's not ideal if you're getting flanked. Like if you have, you can have whatever you want in your team and it's fine and great, but if you're getting dove constantly, it's just so hard to stay up on this character, especially if you're getting no peel from your team. Like if you don't have a diva to help you out and you don't have like a Baptiste or a Brig on your team, it can be so hard if they're diving. But in any other comp, like Poke, he's ideal. Very top tier in the right hands. You can honestly destroy it and take over lobbies with this character, which is what's part of the fun for me, And that's really all I got to say about Zen. He was a glass cannon. He's a little bit tankier now, but he's still got the same archetype. People will tell you he's OP, and he can be, right? But in the right hands, he's very good. But like I said, the enemy team can swap a couple picks, run a dive comp, and really just take it over because like I said, he's no mobility at all, right? So that's really it. That's all you can do. So after Zenyatta, those are the 3 launch supports for Overwatch 1, including Symmetra, but she didn't really heal, so she didn't count. We got Anna way back in the day. Anna, pretty much, she is your dive support. Like, if your team is playing dive, like, she's really good with a Winston. Stuff that can really just get in. She can heal all the way from the back. You want to be set up in a position where the enemies are going to have to use a lot of like resources and cooldowns to get to you. You don't want to be walking behind your tank's ass, right? You don't want to be barrel stuffing your tank's asshole, or else you're just a easier target. You really want to set up in a place like way behind, not super far behind to where you can't see sightlines and do damage, because that's what you want to do. But to a safe position where you ideally want to hold right click and aim down the sights for the hit scan shots. If you didn't know, Anna, if you shoot her gun normally, it's a projectile, but if you aim with it, it's a hit scan shot like a Soldier or Cassidy, right? Where it instantly connects to the target. So the ideal way to play her is to be zoomed in and just keep shooting your tank, keep shooting your supports, whoever needs it. And then if your team is topped off or they don't need healing at the moment, you really want to be doing damage, because those damage shots onto the enemies are very valuable, guys. Like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, like, I'll just keep my team up and they'll do the rest. But if you can land shots on the enemies and pressure them, especially Pharah, right? Like, if there's a Pharah looking at you, look up and shoot her, because now she's got to think, maybe I have to reposition here. Maybe I can't engage right now. And it doesn't sound like much, but that's why the DPS supports kind of run the game right now, If you can add extra pressure onto the enemy, especially in this new patch where they won't receive as much healing, it's just so strong, man. And that's why like Lifeweaver and Mercy they're just suffering this patch kind of, because all they bring is healing. which is just not ideal this patch. But like I said, this is just a beginner guide. I'm not going to get into good picks or anything like that. This is just a rundown of how to play each character, right? So Ana, you know what I mean? Sit in the back, do damage when you can, heal your supports, or you're going to suffer against dive probably if they're coordinated dive. But like I said, keep playing it. You might hit the sleep dart a lot of the time, you know? Sleep dart is your only tool to really mitigate a dive on you. If you land the sleep dart, it's very strong. 5 seconds stun against every enemy in the game but tanks. Tanks is at 3.5 seconds. Very, very ideal. They're unable to move or use abilities for that amount of time. So it's very, very strong. You don't want to just chuck it out though, right? There are times like we're in the beginning of a fight, like in the beginning of the match, you can chuck it out, sure, whatever, try to sleep someone, but you really want to hold on to it for when you're getting engaged on, or the tank is making a mistake, or you see somebody making a mistake that you can punish, because then you could probably get the elim on them with a well-timed sleep dart. And it's her skill shot, right? It's very hard to hit if it's not a tank, right? You have to lead it. You have to do all sorts of crazy stuff with it, but you know what I mean? That's her defensive tool. She has 0 mobility, so she's very prone to divers and flankers, as I said. Her other ability is her biotic grenade, which is, when we're talking about utility, is like insanely strong. Obviously, like if you splash it on your allies, they get boosted healing, so your shots, all sources of healing for a couple seconds will heal them more, whether it's health packs, whether it's the payload on attack, whether it's your shots as Ana or like your fellow Zenyatta or Mercy Orb, all sources of healing get amplified. But if you splash it onto an enemy, their health bar goes purple. And what that means is they cannot heal at all. They cannot get any healing for 3 seconds, I believe it is. Maybe 3.5, I can't remember. But yeah, and that's obviously, you can see how that's very strong. It forces the enemies to think another way or die. It forces them to retreat and maybe not take a fight, or it forces them to, use Kiriko Cleanse to get rid of it, use a Zarya Bubble to get rid of it. It brings a lot of value to the team. The antis, especially against like Roadhog, the character relies on his heal and getting pocketed. If you can turn that off, you can see how that's very strong. And that's kind of what Ana does. She brings the anti-heal to the team. She brings long-range burst healing to the team. You're going to want to play Ana with, your Winstons, your Genjis. I forgot to talk about... what the fuck am I even saying, dude? I'm so tired, guys. Sorry, I don't know what's happening, but... her ultimate ability is the nano boost, which is very, very good. What you do is, it's the only ultimate you really shoot at your own team in the game. But you basically shoot your enemy, or not an enemy, you shoot your teammate with a dart, and what happens is they get boosted. And while they're boosted, they do 50% extra damage. They take 50% less damage, so they're a lot tankier, they're a lot bulkier. And also, when you shoot it at a teammate, it insta-heals for 250, which is very good because you can save your tank from dying, you can save your teammates from dying. And honestly, that's a very good thing to bring to the table. It also synergizes with a lot of ultimates in the game. Think of like nano-boosted Genji Blade, think of nano-boosted Tactical Visor, Soldier. Think of, nano-boosted Bastion in turret mode. Does so much incredible damage. And it synergizes with most of the tanks in the game. Like, a nano-jumping Monkey can be a real big problem for the enemy team if left unchecked. So, that's kind of what Ana brings to the table. I would classify her as one of the DPS supports. If you're heal botting on Ana, sure, you'll farm nanos kind of quick if you're just pumping your tank, but you really, really want to be looking for those opportunities to do damage, because you'll not only fill your ultimate faster, but you'll force the enemy team to play in a way they might not want to, And that's just kind of what Ana brings to the table. That's really it for her. I guess we'll move on to Moira. Now, Moira is a character that that really suffers from utility. She doesn't really bring all that much to the team, except for her incredible ability to burst heal with her orb and her little hand. Her pee hand, as most of the community calls it, her piss hand. So if you're pissing and you're heal orbing, it's a lot of healing. And then like the polar opposite is the damage, right? Her damage just got buffed this season, so it's actually very good. Her damage orb, if paired with her damage, you can just kill stuff on the flank by yourself, you know. And then she's got her fade ability. It's on a low cooldown. It's basically your oh shit, get out of jail free button. You really don't want to be wasting this. If the enemies see you waste this cooldown, then you're going to get punished. You really want to hold on to it for, you know, those sticky situations and to kind of reset yourself, you know. But basically, the ideal way to play Moira is, it depends, right? She's good against like the Genjis and the flankers, because she can get out of jail, and she can, you know, she goes through the Genji deflect unless he deflects your orb. But that's all really Moira is. She brings a lot of damage and she brings a lot of heals. And then her ultimate, the Coalescence, it's the Kamehameha beam. You want to use it as a tempo, really a tempo-based ultimate. If you're losing the fight but nobody's died, you can pop it and kind of get the swing in the fight, make it go in your favor. Obviously, the more people lined up with it is more ideal because it heals and does damage. So if you can line them up well, you'll get a lot of value. But yeah, Moira, you want to just... This is a character you want to be behind your tank's asshole sometimes, especially when you're starting out, because you can provide a great amount of burst healing. But that's not all you want to do on Moira. You want to find those opportunities to damage. There are going to be a lot of times where you can punish an enemy that's out of position. Maybe their shield is cracking on their Reinhardt, and you see is like half HP. You can pop the Cole to kind of put an immense pressure on their tank. Make their supports like have to focus on their tank, and then you can flank the supports or your other flankers, or somebody can deal with the supports while you're doing that. Like there's just a lot of times where Moira can pop off, right? Especially in the lower ranks, especially when you're starting out. A lot of people, including myself today, man, sometimes I still have trouble dealing with this character, and her damage, like I said, her damage got buffed this season, so she's not a joke. She was a joke for the longest time, but now I feel like she's an actual kind of threat if she's left unchecked, you know? So that's kind of what you want to do. You know, just try out different play styles. It's not going to be the same thing every game. Like I said, depending on the enemy team and what they bring and what you guys have. Sometimes, like if you have a Zenyatta, a lot of the times I'm playing Zen and I have a Moira, like they have to stick to healing the tank, or I can swap to something better, because sometimes it's better if the Moira's off on her own doing her own thing, and I can play like Baptiste or something and keep the rest of my team alive while she's doing her thing. But yeah, you really want to find those opportunities to do damage and to burst heal whenever possible. Not too much to say about Moira. Pretty entry-level character, pretty easy, but that's what I like about Overwatch. You know, it has a range of characters that can suit your thirst for any skill level, right? That's kind of what's cool about it. So I guess we'll move on to Brigitte. She is like the mini tank hybrid support. Way worse in Overwatch 2 than she was in Overwatch 1 release. Any Overwatch 1 veteran will tell you this character was a nightmare to deal with, and they would be honest, because she really was, man. Actual meta-defining hero. But in today's standards, basically what she does, she's more of a kind of situational pick in today's kind of games. But you know, her repair pack just did get buffed, so maybe she could see a lot more playtime, but her whole identity is to protect your other support, right? So if you have like a Zenyatta and your tank doesn't need a lot of resources, I would pick Brig. Like if you have a Sigma or a Ball or something, you know, characters that don't need a lot of healing to stay up and stay relevant in the fight, Brig is an ideal pick to fend off those divers and protect your other support, like your Ana or Zen, or something that's just, you know, that if you can peel for it, it can pop off, right? Brig is ideal with that. Her whip shot is kind of like the Lucio boop, right? You knock back enemies, and it also triggers your passive healing, which is a big part of her kit. If you don't know what her passive is, any sort of damage she does, whether it's her shield bash, her whip shot, her regular melee, it will trigger a healing aura for 6 seconds for everybody around her. But it's bigger than Lucio Aurea. It's bigger than Lucio's areolas, but it's sorry. It's bigger than Lucio Aura, right? And is really good paired with her burst pack healing. Her burst pack healing, you basically it's a controversial thing in the Overwatch community, but you just throw burst heals onto any enemy, not enemies, but teammates you look at, right? Sorry, I'm kind of retarded. I'm kind of just riffing off the top of my head. In one long unedited video, so I'm sorry if this is terrible. I'm trying to just rattle the thoughts off the top of my head of stuff I know about, but I'm not that good at speaking in general. But that's a topic for another time. Brig, basically, she's got the shield. She keeps herself alive. Sometimes you can use it in a way to like say you're playing Havana top of third point, you can shield your Ashe or shield your Widowmaker, kind of. You don't really want to use her for that, though. You really want to use it for yourself to keep yourself up, mitigate a lot of damage, draw some attention away from your team and onto yourself because you can absorb it with that shield. The shield bash, the shield bash, okay, it's misleading, right? The shield bash, it's called a bash, so it makes you think you want to use it in the enemy's face all the time. But you really want to use this tool as more of a mobility dash to get away, right? You can bait enemies into fighting you and then dash away. Maybe they'll overcommit to try to get you and they get punished. But yeah, you really want to be using this ability as a mobility tool until your team gets a pick or until you can start brawling, because that's kind of what Brig does, right? It's weird because she baits you into thinking that she's a brawl character, right? But if you try to just walk in and face tank with this character, you're gonna die. It's bad. But she really shines in those fights that are drawn out and long, where you can just keep knocking enemies back, you can keep your Inspire up, you keep healing your whole team, and she gets her all really fast, right? If you walk in and just try to damage the enemies with this character, you're going to have a bad time because you're just going to get farmed over and over again. So I guess I'll talk about her alt. Her alt is called Rally. And what she does is you pop Rally, you get a movement speed boost, you get an extra 100 armor for health, and you basically turn into a mini tank, right? You're a lot tankier. Her shield widens, and you get a stun, right? The shield stuns during your ultimate, so it's really, really good for stopping a lot of ultimates or just, providing a useful stun on a Roadhog or something. You can stun Sigmas in the Flux if they're out of position. You can stun Dragon Blade to help your team deal with it better. You can stun Lucio alt. If you're close enough, he would never alt in front of you. But, it's just a saying or whatever. But yeah, you want to use this as a momentum ultimate, as in a momentum tempo based ultimate, right? You want to press the advantage, press Rally. You want to kind of give your team an edge. You could see they're on the losing foot. Press Rally. Just provide your team with a bunch of overhealth. Constantly regenerating overhealth too, not for yourself, but for your team. So if you play around your team with this ultimate, you'll have a very big advantage. And that's kind of what Brig's identity is, man. All you got to do is press your fucking heal button, right? Press your easy ass heal button, heal your team, keep your Inspire up, keep your other support alive, throw packs to your DPS, help them win their duels. Protect your other support. That's really all there is. My personal preference, I don't really lock Brig until I'm getting heavy dove. Not heavy dove, but if they have 1 or 2 divers or flankers and you need to protect somebody on your team, Brig is a very good option for that. If you're picking Brig to just kind of heal, there's just better options. Right? So I guess we'll move on to Baptiste. Now, Baptiste has been one of the most controversial characters in the game for a long time due to his immortality field, right? Because it's basically a second ultimate ability. It's an ability you throw out to, prevent death. You can stop a lot of deaths with this tool. Throw it around a corner, take an aggressive angle, throw it around a corner, and you can kind of just like take gunfights, right, for free until your immortality field runs out, or if you get displaced or something like that. But there's a lot of this is definitely like the DPS support hero, guys. Him and Alari, they're DPS heroes. Essentially, you want to DPS as hard as you fucking can with these heroes. Baptiste especially, there's a certain tempo you can look up where it's like a shoot, heal, shoot, heal. You always want to be weaving in a heal and a shot within each other. The more ideal way to play her is 2 shots, 1 heal, 2 shots, 1 heal, 2 shots, 1 heal. Double burst heal, double burst heal, double burst DPS heal, because you want to just Baptiste provides an immense amount of pressure on whatever he looks at, right? You can use his exo boost. His passive is he has jumpy boots, right? He has moon boots. You can jump, you can take high grounds. Baptiste is my go-to on maps like Numbani first point, Dorado second point, or Dorado first even. You can access the high ground with the boots, and it's really, really, really useful for taking aggressive angles, drawing attention away from your team, putting pressure on the enemy heroes. If you're playing Baptiste and you're heal botting, sure, it's good value. Sure, you can throw the immortality and just heal your tank all game, but the real good players know that the DPS portion of this hero is what you pick him for, essentially. Like, being able to just pressure the enemy shield when nobody else is, pressure the tank when the shield breaks, pressure the DPS on the off angle, pressure supports that are out of position. It's just so strong, guys. Like, you really want to be DPSing on this hero, and I cannot stress that enough. If you want a heal bot, there's better supports to pick. If you're not making use of the damage on this character, there are better supports to pick. Then also his last ability is the regenerative burst. Basically, you press it and it heals around you. It heals in an AoE. Pretty good. Targets under half get boosted healing. So it's very useful for just, tempo, keep your team alive. You need to be shooting something, but you can't look at your teammate who also needs healing. Press the heal button and shoot away. That's basically what Baptiste brings to the table. A lot of healing, a lot of damage. And if you can make use of both of that and get the ideal shooting rhythm down, then you will be a menace on this character. This is one of the only supports in the game that I feel like is a deadlift support. Like, you can deadlift lobbies on Baptiste, right? Just take the game into your own hands. And that's pretty much it. Oh, his ultimate, right? Ultimate amplification matrix. What's to say about this thing, man? It's a fucking IMAX theater. You place down the window, you shoot through it, and your damage is doubled. It's not like Nano Boost where it's 50% more damage. This is double damage, right? So stuff like Visor through it, Soldier Visor, very strong, very, very strong. Just your normal shots through it, jump up to the high ground, quickly place the ult down, and just burst somebody down. You can burst down targets so fast, even the tanks if they're caught off guard, right? And you really want to be using the window for yourself on aggressive positions. There are going to be times where you want to place it in front of your team or whatever. You want to place it at a choke to kind of deter the enemy team from walking in. You can use that, but I find a lot more value in taking aggressive off angle so the enemy has to be like, oh shit, how do we do with this window and this whole other team over here? You know what I mean? Because there's an immense amount of pressure coming in from my side with the window. There's an immense amount of pressure coming from the tank side and whatever the tank is doing. It's just Baptiste is an all-around solid pick. The only reason I would prefer Ana over him is if you can get a lot of value on those Winston comps, like I said, or those ball comps. Baptiste isn't that great at healing like the Winston in the dive comps. He's better at healing like the stationary tanks or the grounded tanks, because hitting that heal in midair is pretty hard. But like I said, if you're getting dove on Ana and your team has like Winston, Genji, locking BAP is not bad at all because hitting Winston isn't terribly hard. And he's got the extra survivability with his immortality and his regen burst that, a lot of supports don't have besides him. So, yeah, lock Baptiste if you want to win games, guys. I'm telling you, this character is insane. He's the DPS healing hybrid he is literally a DPS character with healing abilities. It's insane. But I guess we'll move on to Kiriko, which is crazy. Dude, we waited 3 years. 3 years between Baptiste and Kiriko release, right? To get a new support hero, which as a support main felt so bad. But once we got Kiriko, she did not disappoint, man. This character is so awesome. I know she's controversial because her Suzu is very, very strong, very broken, very, very overpowered, right? Suzu. Okay, so Kiriko's whole identity is, when this character first came out, nobody really knew how to play her. But now what you do as Kiriko is you flank, man. You flank because you can get out for free with your teleport, right? You want to flank. You want to try to just hit some aggressive kunai headshots and then get out when it gets bad, right? You can heal bottom this character, right? But you're missing out on so much of that extra threat. Because, guys, Overwatch is not just about the stats, regardless of what your gold teammates will say to you, right? Everybody will type the stats at the end of the game, but stuff that doesn't show up on the stat board is stuff like, attention drawn, right? And that's what Kiriko does. She draws so much attention away from your team because you're able to take those aggressive off angles and throw kunais, right? Throw the kunais, throw the fucking headshot machines. These things are insane, especially with the Season 9 buff where the projectiles are bigger. So you can just provide so much pressure. You can even get a kill. She can't 2-tap anymore this patch, which is very good. I think it's healthier for the game. But you can still provide an immense amount of pressure from the off angle with these, especially if you're landing the headshots, right? And then it's like, oh shit, how do I get out now? I'm finished. They're looking at me. Oh, just press your shift and go to your teammate, go to your team. It's literally that easy. You want to make the enemy commit to you before you teleport out, right? So they waste time, they waste cooldowns on you to give your teammates the advantage. And then you want to basically heal whoever needs healing. She has targeted tracking healing, so it's not too bad to hit. You can miss a lot with it, or if they're too far away, it won't track. But you'll never, again, this is not a really good character to heal bot on, right? Because she provides so much of that damage utility to the off angles that you're really missing out if you don't capitalize on that, right? So we talked about her teleport and her kunais and her healing. Let's talk a little bit about Suzu, right? Now Suzu is a very controversial ability in the game, right? This is the only other cleanse in the game, right? Besides Zarya Bubble. Zarya Bubble was the first cleanse ever added to the game, even though it's not really talked about. But yeah, you can cleanse Anti-Nade, you can cleanse Junker Queen ult, you can cleanse, Burning Ash ability, Mauga Fire, you can cleanse the Sombra hack. All that stuff you can do with the Suzu too. And that's basically what you use it for. And also, it's an immortality field as well. It's like a mini immortality field where you can throw it on your teammate if they're about to die. They get a second of invulnerability. You can usually heal them up in that time too, if your supports are looking at whoever's taking the damage. But you don't want to just throw this out all willy-nilly. You want to use it for those situations where you can, like if the fight's not broken out yet, but if you can cleanse like an anti or something just to get some extra ult charge, it's worth it. If you cleanse negative effects, it does more healing too, so you can get more ult charge. You want to throw it on teammates that are going to die, man. Like you don't want to let your team die for free. That's what the Suzu's for. And then like I said, in the Junker Queen matchup, you want to hold on to it for when she rampages, because as long as you're holding Suzu, she won't rampage most of the time. And if she does, you can just cleanse it. It's that good. Same with Ana. Ana splashes a nade onto your tank. Your tank is focused. You can stop that. You can cleanse it. You can basically counter their counter which is very, very useful, you know, and that's basically Kiriko's identity, right? You want to do some damage, you want to get out freely, you want to Suzu your teammates to keep them up, to cleanse the negative effects, and basically just keep your team alive, provide a lot of damage, provide a lot of attention drawn from your team to you as Kiriko, because your hitbox is tiny too, right? So you're not that easy to hit. And that's what she does, man. She's annoying. She's an annoying little like rat that just plays on your off angles and then gets out for free. That's basically what you want to do. You can heal bot on this character starting out. But ideally, as you get better at the game, you want to take advantage of that damage that she can bring. Oh, I don't know why I keep forgetting to talk about the ultimates, but her ultimate, the Kitsune Rush, is very, very unique. In my opinion, one of the funnest abilities in the game, right? You basically throw out the Kitsune, let the Kitsune guide you, right? And then, or whatever she says in Japanese for the enemy team. And then, as you're on the little platform you see come out, the little, what are they called? It's like, I don't know. It's like the spirit gates or whatever. I don't know what the hell it is, bro. But as you're standing on it, you get a speed boost. You get a cooldown reduction too. So you can actually chuck a Suzu if you need to, and then you'll get one back pretty fast because it doubles the cooldown reduction. So you want to use that. And then it also gives you attack speed boost, right, too? So it's very good with like Soldier Visor. Reinhardt can swing faster on it. Lucio can shoot faster. Everybody can shoot faster. So whoever makes use of this, it's just so strong because it's that much more pressure that the enemy has to deal with, right? That much more faster shots, that much more faster healing for your team. You know, it brings so much good utility. It's almost a free team fight win if they don't disengage from it. But sometimes, especially in those overtime situations, man, if you have a Kitsune, it's almost unstoppable. It's just so strong. So much pressure for the enemy team. And that's what Kiriko brings. And I guess I'll move on to Kiriko. From Kiriko to Lifeweaver. Now, Lifeweaver is an interesting pick, right? Lifeweaver, so you shoot bots in the training range with his thorns, right? And you're like, oh, okay. This actually does a pretty decent amount of damage, right? But the thing is with Lifeweaver is you're not going to be utilizing the damage that often because of how much you have to keep up on healing with this character, right? He can't do both at the same time. You have to choose one or the other. And most of the time, you're going to be want to pre-charging heals to just kind of heal your team while the fight's happening, right? You don't want to full charge it all the time. Basically based on the tempo of the fight, how often they're taking damage. But during the mid-fight, you're really going to want to be just spamming like 50, 60, 70 heals to your teammates and keeping them up. And then the damage, you really want to be doing damage against like the pre-fight enemies, shielding. Like when it's really... The thorn volleys, guys, is actually very solid against shields. You need to start using the thorn volley against shields. I'm telling you, it's so good, especially against Winston. Like if you see Winston jump and he uses his bubble, you can honestly just thorn it and it provides a lot of damage to it. It's actually very good. You can honestly use the thorns to pressure snipers before the fight too. If you want to ego peek, if you know the Widow's bad, or if you know it's a Hanzo and you can't get one shot, shooting those thorns, like they're pretty accurate for the first couple seconds, right? It can provide enough damage to kind of make them reposition or make them retake an angle, which can be good. But I know most people starting out on Lifeweaver are just going to heal bot, which is fine because that's basically what the character is designed for. But as you get better at Lifeweaver, you want to make use of the thorns. I'm telling you, especially when you're getting dove, you want to just try to hit your headshots as best as you can because they actually do a lot of damage and you can fend off a lot of dive with your pedal platform. But yeah, use the thorns, guys. Don't use them mid-fight if your team needs healing. Like I said, it all depends on the situation. Overwatch is this very situational game in the sense where there's not going to be a be-all, end-all answer for how you play each character down to a science, right? Every game has its own set of problems, its unique circumstances, and that's why we all love Overwatch, man. It's just, it feels like every game is different, which is cool. So yeah, Lifeweaver, spam the heals during the fight, spam shields with his damage because it's actually very underrated and strong. You can pop shields pretty fast with it. And then his life grip, obviously pull your tank out if they're mispositioned. Try not to grip teammates that don't need it because they'll flame you. Say your Genji goes in and he's not low yet. Pull him out, or don't pull him out, rather. Let him do his thing. If you pull out full health Genjis, oh, sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that. If you life grip out full HP targets, they're going to get mad at you. They're going to flame you in chat. But they probably still will flame you even for good pulls, guys. So don't be afraid to experiment with it. Say your Genji goes in and he's blading and he's like low. You see he's taking damage. Just pull him out because, a ruined ultimate is better than a ultimate where he just dies and doesn't provide anything to the team. As much as they'll flame you and say, dude, I was going to get a kill. You were going to die, bro. Okay, so provide more to the team without being dead. Use it on your tank. Say you have a Reinhardt that charges in way too aggressive, you can pull him out. He'll thank you for it because he'll realize, oh shit, that was a dumb play. And that's really what it's used for, man. Just pull your teammates out of danger. You can pull people out of Zarya Grav. You can pull people out of Malga Cage Fight. Keep that in mind. You can pull people out of Sigma's Flux. It's very useful for that. So if you're in those matchups and you know that the ultimate is coming out, just be ready. Don't waste it because you can actually get a lot of value with this thing. And then his other ability, the platform, obviously you can, it's very, 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 very strong when paired with, tanks that can't access vertical mobility. Like think of Watchpoint Gibraltar first point, right? You don't know how many times I've won the first point just from having a Reinhardt or a Ramatra or a Roadhog, right? Someone that can't access that high ground very quickly. You throw a pedal platform down, you access the high bridge right there, right at the start. They don't expect it. You can, I've had Roadhogs flank the high ground up there and just get a good hook and win the fight off that. You want to make use of the pedal platform for the situation that you're in. Very good on Numbani first point. You can just lift your Ryan or your Ramatra or somebody with no vertical mobility up to the high ground there. Your Bastions, your Soldiers. Use it for your Cassidy that's going to high noon. Very strong there. Get them a lot of high ground. Get them a good angle to get a lot of kills, right? Or at least zone a lot of people out. And then ultimate ability is the Tree of Life, right? Tree of Life is similar to Rally, where it's like a tempo ultimate, right? You place the tree down, your team has an edge. You get over health if you're already full healed, or it's just great. It's basically another healer on wherever you put it. You put it on the payload, it's like an extra healer. It pulses with healing, pretty good. It's got a giant HP bar. Don't place it in front of Bastions that haven't used turret form yet. Or maybe sometimes you have to, right? Roadhog can easily ult this thing down. Roadhog ult will shred this thing in a second. So just be wary of that. You can also use the tree in very niche circumstances where you can, you can block doorways with it. You can even block like Sigma Flux if you place the ult right in the center, but it's hard to do. So don't really save it for that. Save it for just, when you want the tempo to shift in your favor. I throw it down all the time, honestly, just because I almost throw it down off cooldown unless I know the fight is lost because it's such a good edge to win the fight and it comes up so often, That's basically it. Lifeweaver, he's your most heal body character besides Mercy. That's basically all you do on him. You chuck the heals, you do the shield damage with the thorns, you thorn damage flankers that get up close to you or any enemies for that matter. Use your I forgot about his dash too. His dash is basically just Hanzo lunge. It heals you a little bit. Also can help you out of sticky situations. Dash away. Use your pedal platform. And just kind of live. If you can live on this character and keep healing, keep gripping people out, keeping your tree up is just good healing. But like I said, it's with the support passive, or the DPS passive being added this season. It's just his healing does less, and that's all he really brings, right? You can't be doing damage because you have to keep up on healing. That's what I hate about this character too, man. If you're gonna heal and damage at the same time, it'd be a different story, right? But he has to just keep up on. That's the problem. You have to just keep up on healing the whole team fight. It feels like there's really never an opportunity to go and do your own sort of damage or make your own carry potential outside of the life grip, right? Which is whatever. That's Lifeweaver. He heals. He does a little damage. He grips. He has the tree. That's really his identity. So we'll move on to the last support we have, Illari, until we get Space Ranger in Season 12, which I'm looking forward to. The character looks very cool. But Illari, I'm just going to call her Illari. Sorry if that offends you. I don't care. It's easy to say for me. So that's what we'll say, okay? Illari, the other DPS support option besides Baptiste and Zenyatta and Anna at some points and Moira is Illari. She's very... What's the word? She's like a... She's good. She can be bad in a lot of situations, though, but her buff to her fire rate this patch is very nice. I've been playing around with it a lot. She brings a lot of damage, man. You used to be able to 2-tap Tracer before in the body, but not anymore, which is whatever. But, yeah, you bring Illari to kind of... she's good paired with poke tanks, right? Like Sigma. Just a very DPS heavy character, man. She has a burst healing on a right click, but you don't want to be playing this character if you're just going to be right clicking your teammates on the back, right? You want to place your pylon in a way where it's going to benefit your team, but it won't get broken so easily, and that's going to be the hardest part, I think, about learning this character if you're brand new to the game or to Illari in general, because that's what she does. You have to place the turret, the healing pylon, in a very good spot, or else you just cannot get her ult fast, which is what you farm ult fast on this character by the turret staying up and healing your team. You want to take aggressive angles with your pylon too. You don't want to just sit behind your team. You want to off angle. You want to, not all the time, right? Just when a situation calls for it. If you can take an off angle with your pylon alone and force a couple enemies to look at you, maybe force somebody to commit to you, you have your dash or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but her little dash ability. You can also get vertical mobility with it to get to weird angles, which is very nice. But that's basically your jump away fade for when you get dove. It's kind of like Sojourn Dive, where you kind of want to save it for when you're getting dove and then just kind of jump away with it. Illari, you want to just DPS with her, You want to be hitting those headshots if you can. It does a lot of damage. You want to full charge your rifle. The only time you really want to spam the low charge targets, because it does less damage if you don't have a full charge. You want to spam it on a low enemy. If they're not low, there's literally no point in spamming, because you want to pick up on that elim, right? You want to get the kill. So if you can spam a low health target and hit it, sure, go for it. But other than that, you want to keep this rifle full charged, because that's where all the damage is, baby. And that's the name of the game in Season 9 especially, or support in general. People don't realize this, but support has kind of always been like that, where the damage supports are people that can really capitalize on the damage will climb faster, because it's just that much more pressure on the enemy team that they have to deal with. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, and it's been the name of the game forever. People just sleep on it. But Illari, that's basically it. She's got the healing pylon. She's got her escape jump. She's got her mobility jump. She's got the healing. The right click is for when your pylon's broken. You need to keep your tank up, something like that. But you really don't want to be playing too close to your team, right? Because she really benefits from that long range off angle poke, or it doesn't have to be an off, like a crazy behind off angle too, right? It can be somewhere above. Something that comes to mind is that middle point on Suravasa. You can use your mobility to get on top of the little cage thing, place a weird pylon to where the enemies can't shoot it, and then the enemies have to look at you up there and your teammates on the ground. You split the angles, you split the sight lines, you split their attention, and that is how you win games of Overwatch, guys. Sitting behind your team, and this goes for every character except for like Mercy. You always want to be taking angles to which your team or the enemy team has to split their vision and split their resources, right? Because if they all just shoot at one clump of enemies, you're not going to get much value because you're just going to get spammed down, right? But so that's basically it, man. And then of course the alt I forgot about. Our alt is Captive Sun. It's kind of like Discord Orb, where it's an ability which rewards focus fire, right? So it can get eaten by Matrix and Sigma and blocked by shields, right? So you really want to be careful with this. There's a good opportunity to use it every fight. In every fight, you just got to wait and see what it is, use it on a demeching diva, use it on a Sigma that shield broke, and you can sneak it past his little suck there, whatever it's called. And basically everyone that gets hit by the sun, it's a big AoE explosion. They get marked and they get slowed, right? So that's very good on its own. Even if you don't pop it, they get marked and you have to pop it, right? I think it's like 90 damage to activate it. And then once you activate the 90 damage, they get bursted for 160 damage, right? Which is insanely strong because that'll kill most squishies in the game if they don't receive healing or don't receive any sort of immortality or anything. And it's really good paired with DPS alts that can really capitalize on that push, It's a go button, which is what I like for supports. I like a go button that says, okay, let's go. Let's get in there. Let's do some stuff. Let's make it happen. This is the time to get aggressive, right? That's why I'll kind of say my mains really quick. I play a lot of Zenyatta. I play a lot of Kiriko. I play a lot of Baptiste, and I'm starting to pick up a lot more Alari because I love those. I love the go buttons, right? Like Kitsune Rush for Kiriko is a go button. It's, hey, get in there, do some damage. Alari ult, you throw it out. Hey, get in there, pop the suns. Let's kill the whole fucking enemy team. Zenyatta, throw the Discord orb out. Hey guys, focus the purple orb and let's kill this dude. That's basically what Alari is. She's a solid damage option that can provide a lot of healing, but that's not really what you're bringing her for. You do want to keep that pylon up to farm your ult fast, because if you keep the pylon up and you keep hitting shots and you keep bursting your teammates that need the healing, you can build your ult so incredibly fast on this character and just keep providing that good value with it, which is what you want to do, man. She is the DPS. If you're a DPS player looking to try out support, I would try Alari. She is the go-to for just shoot the enemy team. Don't really have to worry about your team too much because they play around the pylon and whatnot. And that's really it, man. That's all the supports until we get Space Ranger in Season 12, which I'm looking forward to. They said she was basically she's going to have a lot of vertical mobility, so I'm excited to see what her kit consists of, right? Because support, I know it's in a good state, or it has been for a while. This patch kind of killed it a little bit. It's still pretty good. Support is still very strong. Don't listen to what anyone tells you. Support is still strong. And as a support main, I'm pretty biased to my role normally, but I admit when it's strong, man. And it's been strong forever, and it will continue to be strong, because with the second tank gone, the support has to kind of be the carries, which I like better. I hated getting dominated by tank duos in Overwatch 1. And I think the gameplay is more clear in Overwatch 2, which is why I favor it a lot more. 6v6 versus 5v5 is a huge debate in the community at all times, and it's very annoying. I'm a 5v5 enjoyer. 6v6 can work, but there's just so much extra clutter, and tanks are overpowered. I know supports are overpowered now, but they kind of have to be, right? You don't want to just have them get run over, but that's a whole topic for a different story. different story, different times, 6v6, 5v5, whatever. This is just a support guide on what each character kind of brings to the table, what they do, the best ideal playstyle. And like I said, every single game of Overwatch has a different win condition, right? There's not a be all end all answer to play each hero in a specific way every time and win. You have to be an adaptive player to win Overwatch games, guys. And that is arguably one of the most important mechanics to learn, is to have an adaptive play style, right? You have to play different based on what your team has and what the enemy team has. And that's what's so fascinating about it to all of us. And if you can pick up on that early, especially as a supporter with your positioning, not dying a lot, if you can stay alive on support, and I know this is Zenyatta because it's a lot of value, if you can stay alive, you're just providing an intense amount of utility to your team, guys. You need to be staying alive on this character. It's almost more important than tank. Not exactly right, because if your tank dies, then the team fight is so much harder. But if a support dies, it's like it's crippling to your team as well, you know? Depending on who it is, right? Like if you die on Lucio, your team isn't speedy anymore, but you can still win the fight, right? It just depends. Some supports are more detrimental than others, but that's just the game. And honestly, I've been rambling. I really thought this would be a 20-minute video. I now see that I'm going on an hour now. But I guess I just wanted to explain a little more in depth from a guy's perspective that's been playing the game for a while. You know, I've been playing the game for a while, and I like to think I know what I'm doing. I've been GM until this rank reset. Now I'm kind of hard stuck Masters, but I'm getting there. But yeah, if you're listening to this, thanks for listening. I hope you learned something. Like I said, this isn't an Overwatch channel. This is a mini episode, even though it's fucking way longer than like any other video that I have on this channel at this point, but it's a mini episode because I'm retarded and can't do time management or anything. But like I said, this video is just riffing off the top of my head, going on a subject I know about to try to improve at the videos, improve at the podcast, you know, because I'm a pod bro now. Like I said, I know I said like I said a lot, but like I said, guys, I know I'm repetitive. I'm getting better. I can feel it getting better. It's not as scripted as the PVZ video was. It still haunts me to this day. Future Jerry, when you're listening to this, let me know how retarded I am, dude. Comment again. Years down the road, if YouTube is even still a thing at this point, or whatever I upload on, let me know how retarded and gay I am. You guys in the comments too, let me know how retarded and gay I am. Roast to me, give me some honest feedback. I'm not going to ask for a like. I'm not going to ask for a sub. I'm just trying to improve. I'm just trying to get better at this, get better at talking or whatever. And that's really it, guys. Another mini-sode. A quick little update on what I'm playing. I'm still playing through Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. That'll be an episode when I'm done with that. I'm still playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. They're adding a new update this Tuesday that has a couple cool things I want to check out in it. Won't go too much into detail. Still playing a lot of Overwatch. I love Overwatch. It's my favorite game ever. It's the best game ever. Fuck you if you disagree. Best multiplayer game ever. I won't say best single player game. Obviously, because it's not a single player game. But yeah, best game ever. Still playing a lot of Overwatch. Grinding for those Jade Zenyatta orbs right now. Hope they add more camos in the future. I'm sure they will, but hope it comes fast. And that's basically it. There's a couple things I want to play. Ghost Runner 2, Metal Hellsinger, stuff like that. I'm still playing Mechabellum. It's an auto battler sim game. But anyways, we won't go too much into that. It's March 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. right now. I do work tomorrow, so I will be there tomorrow. I just figured I had enough time to just talk about Overwatch for a little bit, so I kind of wanted to do that. I didn't have to script anything. I know a lot about the characters and what they do. All I had to do was just, look at the characters and just talk about them. Sorry. Fuck, I'm trying not to say like I said anymore. I'm also trying not to be repetitive, but it's hard, guys. You know, talking for an hour in front of a microphone, if you don't do it, guys, like I'm not talkative that much in general. Like a lot of people, like if you ask my family or ask my friends, I'm not really a big talker, guys. So talking in front of a not a camera, but a mic for an hour is just hard, man. It's not hard, but it takes a little getting used to, you know? So that's it. I won't ramble on for too long. I'm sorry this was already an hour. But here's to Minisode number 2, guys. And here's to all the future talks and videos on my gay podcast, which please let me know another word. Let me know in the comments below if you hear this and can have another word for podcast. I don't want to call them episodes either. Sorry. I don't want to call them episodes either, you know, because it's not like TV or anything, but I don't want to call them talks either. I just don't have a word for it. Maybe I'll think of one, but I hate the word podcast. Fuck podcast. It's too like mainstream for me. I know, whatever, hipster, whatever, you know, but that's just whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm rambling way too long now. I'll wrap it up here. They call it Jerry Yap for a reason. I called it that because I'm a retarded, autistic yapping moron, and here I am. So that's it, boys. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what I can do better. I know I'm going to try to shorten these minisodes up in the future, guys. That's why they're called minisodes. I never intended them to be an hour, but here we are. So just wanted to talk a little bit of Overwatch, and there it is. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.